want
the
to
mic?
grab that mic?
I can get it. I kind of made it to where it has enough room for both.
Okay. It's not as complicated as I thought it would be. Okay. Thank you.
I was wondering why it wasn't working.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so very much. That was so beautiful. All right. Today our speaker is John Lazzarini. Did I do it okay?
Molto bene, Lazzarini.
Grazie.
Very good. Thank you.
All right. So John.
So, should I be here or
Wherever
there?
you like, wherever
What's
you're
the best?
comfortable.
There?
Yeah.
Oh, good morning, everyone. Oh, get this up a little bit. There we go. How's that? Okay.
Wonderful.
So, the topic is actually on the Yugas. And if you're wondering, what are the Yugas? What does that mean? Well, it's a Sanskrit term. The Greeks divided the cycle of life into 4 quadrants: the Iron Age, the Bronze Age, the Silver Age, and the Golden Age. So, again, everything is cyclic. You got spring, summer, fall, the planets are round. Everything kind of works in a circle. So the idea that history is linear is absolutely wrong. It's cyclic. It's all cyclic. So Paramahansa Yogananda's guru, Sri Yukteswar, in his Holy Science, talks about the yugas and about how they are so divided into different years and times. So it's a 24,000 year cycle. I actually have a little chart here. So it's like this. So on the bottom is the Dark Age. That's the Iron Age. Thank God that just happens once in a cycle. Thank God. Now, the ancient Hindu astrologers in 700 AD, there was a misinterpretation, and they screwed up the years, so everything is just thousands and thousands of years. And who would want to be in the Dark Age for thousands and thousands of years? No. So the Dwapara, or the Bronze Age, started in 3100 BC. And then it went down, and it bottomed out at 500 AD. So what exactly happened in 500 AD?
I wasn't there.
The fall of the Roman Empire. So basically, that light of culture, civilization, was snuffed out.
Wow.
Right there. And then we went through the Dark Age and slowly crawling up, until we come to AD 1700. And so what happened there? Well, we have all these discoveries, like Copernicus, all this. And so now we're finally past that Dark Age and come into Dwapara, which is the Bronze Age. So let's just talk about what we actually lost. Okay, so in the Satya Yuga, which is the golden age. We had the apparent reality seen as a projection of divine consciousness. Power over material form, space, and time. No disease or hatred or fear. Nature provides all our needs. Knowing is by expanded consciousness, not books. Seeking the opportunity to serve the Creator. Ideal human has continuous God contact. Masters all divine powers. So look what we've lost. All that. Now, ironically, Hollywood has kind of tapped into a psychological prototype. All of us know deep down inside that we are superheroes. We are Superman and Wolverine and whatever else that's out there, because we know that we actually have all those powers. And all the myth in the ancient scriptures that describe humans flying through the air and having astral powers and all types of things are not just myth. It's actual truth. So there's a little story. So a group of us young monks, there was a class and the older brother was talking about the Yugas. And so all of us smart aleck young guys said, well, and he was talking about how the moon had actually been colonized. All right? So we asked him, but brother, there's no archaeological evidence. I mean, there's no buildings. And his reply was, well, they dematerialized everything. There you go. So there's powers that you and I can only dream of. How did they build the pyramids? How did they get those huge blocks? The thought is power of mind. It just, the mind. So let's talk about where we've been. The dark age, the material age. Concerned mainly with materiality, limited by time, space, and form. Contraction, dogmatism, fixed ideas, rigid institutions, direct knowledge limited to the senses, travel and commerce slow, limited. Live by established rules and traditions, motivated by fear of physical punishment. So that pretty much describes the Dark Ages, huh? Pretty much. So we've actually crawled out of that. And what does Dwapara, what does the Bronze Age offer? Understanding the energy and atomic structures that are the reality behind form. Ascending Dwapara, energy plus matter plus machines. Technology destroys the limitations of material form. Transportation and communication annihilates space. Energy expands outward. Knowledge gained by experience with materially extended senses. Motivated by personal gain, power, and wealth. Temptation temptation to misuse energy. So we also, l'acqua, grazie. So, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you very much. So here's the kicker, is that why is there no archaeological evidence of golden ages? They didn't need to have structures. They didn't have to write. They didn't have machines. So you want to go somewhere? Mentally place your mind, and you're there. So, and the problem is, one of my, I guess you'd say, heroes is Neil deGrasse Tyson, a astrophysicist, incredible mind. He's just amazing. And so Luann and I saw a video, and he was questioning, he didn't know if man had the ability to understand and to know the deeper truth. Well, if you're in the Golden Age, Satya Yuga, you have that capability. Now, the problem with us currently here is everything that we see, whether it's archaeological or everything, is interpreted in our level of consciousness, which, as you can see, is pretty doggone low. I mean it is. I'm being frank here. It's pretty low. So we can see something and totally misinterpret it because we're coming from a lower level of consciousness. Now, there's another question. Is that just because you're in a low age doesn't mean that you have to have that consciousness. Look at a Christ, a Krishna, a Babaji, a Buddha. So just because you're in a low age doesn't mean you're cursed to have that state of consciousness, because we're the soul. We're the soul. We are that spark. God has become us. I love that thought. God has become us. We have the power. So, here's a little thought that I like. The mind cannot arrive at reality and obtain its knowledge by means of thought alone. Thought activity prepares the mind, eliminates errors, and opens fresh horizons of idea truths, but it cannot go further. Thought has to yield to vision. The thinker must be replaced by the seer. It is only when the consciousness releases itself from the recurring round of thoughts which cannot rise above their level and awakens its faculty of direct sight, that the truth or truths reveal themselves to it. So, books are dark age. Books. You hear me? Books are dark age.
Wait a minute, what about our library?
Dark age. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Carmen.
But while you're there, you might as well enjoy it.
But a beautiful dark age. So,
Nobody reads anymore.
right, yeah, right. It's all videos or YouTube now, yeah. So, but again, there are no books in the Golden Age. All right, there are no books. Why? Because you realize truth internally. Books will only take you to a certain level. They're not truth. They're like a finger pointing to the moon. It's not the moon. So, again, books can prepare you to clear wrong thoughts. Better to have good thoughts than wrong thoughts. But again, books will never get you there. Is that you have to feel it. Not just feel it, you have to become it. Truth is imbibed not with just the mind, but the atoms of your body. So, here's a nice thought. The deeper the self-realization of a man, the more he influences the whole universe by his subtle spiritual vibration, and the less he himself is affected by the phenomenal flux. So Bill and I talk about this. Astrology is not something that's fixed. I mean, it's not something that you're doomed to do. It's a prod to pride, where no matter how bad your chart may seem, you're the soul. So you think, oh boy, great, this is something to overcome. This is a challenge. And it's funny, we just saw that video about Neil deGrasse Tyson, and he's black, and he was saying how whenever someone said he couldn't do something, it was just a prod. All right, I'll show him. All right, that's fine. Great. All right, I'll get to work. I'll do it. That's the attitude to have. That's the attitude. No matter how many problems, even if it takes you an entire life, next life, you've created all that energy, you will eventually conquer it. I mean, we're the soul. We're the soul. We can conquer anything. Anything. So, as I was looking, now that brings up a point. So, I was in the ashram for almost 20 years. So, when I left, everything I had was in the back of a VW Rabbit. 20 years. Half of that was books. I was just, oh God, I studied. I was just, thought, I'll get the answer, I'll find out. And what I did is I had these file cabinets of 3x5 cards with all these quotes. So all these quotes, I had volumes of stuff. One day, I just said, well, that's enough. I gave it all away. All my notes, all the classes, 20 years, gone. Gone. Why? Why did I do that? Because I wanted the truth inside me. And I remember when I walked out that door of the ashram, and everyone, how could you leave? There's saints here. I mean, the vibrations, the highest spiritual vibrations. You don't have to worry about anything. Nothing, everything's taken care of. You don't have to worry about taxes. You don't have to worry about food. You don't have to worry about cooking. You don't have to worry about anything. And I left. I left all that. Why did I leave? Why would anyone leave that? Because I wanted to carry that in my heart. If I could not carry that, if I could not carry that vibration and that power in my heart, I don't have anything. I'm a beggar. I'm a slave. I am not a slave. So, that was it. I said, I'll feel it. I will create my own environment. If I can't, what have I gained? 20 years in a monastery. Being with saints, sitting at the feet of saints, feeling their incredible, powerful vibration of love. Seeing our president, Sri Dayamata, going into ecstasy, feeling that incredible love, just saturating your soul. So it is important to try to surround yourself with spiritual company. Very important. Remember, environment is stronger than willpower. Environment is stronger than willpower. So not just surrounding your body with spiritual vibrations, but your mind, keeping your mind on high spiritual thought. Now, the world loves to tear us down with thoughts of, end of the world and all this. There's a nice quote here. The master says, dire pronunciations are occasionally published regarding an imminent end of the world. Planetary cycles, however, proceed according to an orderly divine plan. No earthly dissolution is in sight. Many ascending and descending cycles are yet in store. So, we're safe for a while. But that's the thing. The world just loves to create fear. The world loves to create uncertainty. Don't allow that power in your life. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. You're the soul, the indomitable, all-powerful soul. As long as you keep that in your mind and do not succumb to fear, you're going to be okay. So, it's interesting, when I was going through the Yuga, and there's all types of different dimensions or different planes, and there's 7 higher dimensions and 7, I guess you call it, underworlds. So the Hindus, the term that they use is loka, or a location. So there's Bhuloka, Burloka, Swaloka, Mahaloka, Jnanaloka, Tapaloka, and Satyaloka. Now, Neil deGrasse Tyson talks about different dimensions. Now, when you start getting into like string theory and quantum physics and all of that, actually, all this stuff kind of begins to make sense a bit. It's not based on science. So he said that there are 10 dimensions. So right now, we could be in a whole nother dimension, that there could actually be beings walking through our bodies and doing all types of different things. So a lot of this is, can I prove it? Nah, I can't. But it's nice for expanding the mind, just to kind of think, well, there's a lot of possibilities out there. So, anyway. Another good book is Joseph Campbell writes, it's called The Power of Myth, which is really excellent because that describes a lot of the archetypes. And so the master said that a planet is dissolved for one of two reasons. First, if everyone is so spiritually advanced, they don't have to be here, it just dissolves away. Or if a planet becomes so evil, it dissolves away. So, yeah.
No middle ground?
No, yes, no, maybe. No, maybe. Bill, I'm sorry, no maybe on this one.
Triangle,
So, all right, so I guess so one last thought. Reality is not the result of a process. It is an explosion. It is definitely beyond the mind. But all you can do is to know your mind well. Not that the mind will help you, but by knowing your mind, you may avoid your mind disabling you. You have to be very alert, or else your mind will play false with you. It is like watching a thief. Not that you expect anything from a thief, but you do not want to be robbed. In the same way, you give a lot of attention to the mind without expecting anything from it. So that brings up a point that females have a big advantage over guys. I hate to say it. The reason is because they are more heart-centered, whereas men are very intellectual, so they have to read and understand and know, whereas females can almost just know because they have that intuition where they just know, yeah. And that's how I've judged things. So whenever I read something or somebody tells me something, I just feel it inside, Does that feel right? Does that feel true? If it doesn't, toss it away. That's all. But our culture, our religion, does not encourage us to think for ourselves or trust ourselves. That's wrong. That's totally wrong. You have to trust yourself. You have to believe. Not in the ego. I'm not talking about the small s, self. Okay, remember the ego is not your amigo. So, I'm talking about the big S, the big self, the soul. And I can say that my entire life, against all criticism, I remember when I left home, I left to go down to Southern California and planning on being a monk to join the ashram self-realization fellowship. And my beautiful dad, my beautiful Italian father, he looked at me, typical Italian. He says, "Yoga smoga. Find a nice Italian girl, settle down, open up a grocery store, be normal." Thank you, Dad. Thank you, Dad. Thank you very much. Typical Italian dad, that's what he said. So, but I didn't. I didn't open up a grocery store. But, and it seems as though throughout my life, I just always kind of followed my heart against all criticism, and that's what you have to do. And it's funny because I told the mother, I says, I'd rather burn in hell knowing that I chose what I did than listen to somebody else. I'd rather make my own mistakes and then grow. Have the courage to follow your heart. So, anyway, well, that's it. So, thank you very much. And,